think. I wasn't going to stream today. The reason being, social media got to me a little bit in the last few days, as it's normal. We all go through that phase. Well, not all of us, but if anyone does go on social, kind of create any bit of content, it got to me. It made me a bit sad. Didn't make me feel good, and I wasn't going to stream. But then, of all social media platforms, Twitch, I don't know if social media is the right word, but Twitch is really, really amazing. Uninstall X already. I don't have X. What is it that, it was YouTube more than anything usually. YouTube is a bit on the meaner side of comments. But my point is, Twitch is really the one social media that's a little bit of a bubble. Like we do, what's the word? Over the years of streaming, we have filtered and perfected the audience. I know that sounds so weird, but we filtered like mean people. We have filtered people who leave nasty comments. We've filtered people who are just not positive humans, if that makes sense. It's okay to be neutral, but anyone who's going to drag anyone down. A little bit of Twitch chat eugenics, honestly. It does sound like that. My point being is, streaming on Twitch is really actually such a positive experience, like endorphins and things like that. So when I am down, I do think like Twitch is actually such a good place to stream. We've cultivated it over the years to be this community that it is. Ah, yes, berating the Twitch streamer. That is the usual. Yeah, exactly, CJ. It's so much easier to create your own space within Twitch. Exactly. Like, no matter what kind of social media I've done, Instagram and Threads and YouTube and anything else, it's nothing like Twitch. Like, there is such a personalized... Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't envision there being a more personalized format out there. I think the real-time chat doesn't allow for the worst. Yeah, exactly, Frizzurp. As soon as like, sorry to say, this is a bad tofu word, but okay, not that I build it up, you guys are expecting worse. But basically, if an asshole comes in and posts a nasty thing, they get nipped immediately. Mods at the ready. Have you experienced Kick? No, I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to experience Kick. I've never... I think when Kick first came out, I think Jimmy recommended like Take My Name or something like that. I might have created a Twitch account, Kick account. If you see a Tiny Toxic Tofu, that might be me, but I've never actually... Yeah. Just in case. Would get a FIP with random clips. It would be horrific as anyone. Yeah, absolutely. Imagine if like the VOD archive of Twitch was as searchable as YouTube or as available as YouTube, or if like Twitch was known for VOD watching, if that makes sense. I think there could be a lot more negativity. It's the whole live aspect. Welcome in, Shirley Dev. Yes, a lot better mod tools in YouTube. For example, in YouTube, you can't actually ban someone. I don't know if you guys know this. You can't actually ban someone. The only thing you can do on YouTube is report them, and it doesn't do anything ultimately. But the other thing that you can do is you can hide them from your channel. Ultimately, they can continue to comment, they continue to whatever, but you just visually can't see their comment. They don't know that they got banned and they can continue harassing. So when a lot of my VODs got hate viewed, what's it called, hate watching, that was quite irritating for a while. And like, like hats off to the mods in the chat, like most of the time. I think it's fair to say most of the time. I don't even get to see the negative comments, which is actually immaculate. And I can't express how grateful I am to my mods about this. I am very sensitive about commentary. You guys have experienced it in the sense that, you know, my mood will change immediately depending on the commentary. And so even if a nasty little gremlin comes into the chat, because I'm so slow reading the comments and I'm doing, you know, stuff on the board and chatting about physics, or I'm playing the game, it gets removed so quickly that most of the time I don't even get to read the gremlin evil comment. And so it doesn't affect my mood, nor does it affect my play style and things like that. So I am very grateful for that. It is very kind of my mods to stay on top of that really, really quickly. But you get to delete their comments and that counts as an engage. I don't know. I don't know about that. TikTok moderation is really terrible. My comment where I called out a racer for being a prick got deleted while the race is... Oh my god, yes. TikTok is such a mess. I have so much beef with TikTok. So many people have claimed my audio of my physics videos. There is no music in the background. It is just me talking, and I cannot unclaim it. They won't let me do anything. Oh, I'm so angry about this. Number two, because I have so many videos with just audio removed of me talking about physics, and I can't do anything about it. Number two, the other thing that, the racist commentary has been so wild. I called someone a dick, and I did a long time ago, but they were being an absolute awful human being. My comment got removed because I said the word dick, but a person being, you know, I think it was actually eugenics that we're talking about, if I remember the correct thing. That comment didn't get removed, so yeah. Your voice is just too musical. I wish. It's also easier as chat to cancel someone if someone talks about... Yeah, exactly. Like if someone, like a little, like Schnooz pointed out there, if a little evil gremlin commented here, y'all would be either laughing or berating, or you'd kind of... It's hard for someone to come in here and be a bully when majority of the audience is not a bully. It is a popularity contest with bullying usually. And so on social media, especially if it's a video up for grabs, if that makes sense, it hasn't grabbed an audience yet, or it tends to tunnel into like viewers who are bullies, and so they will support the bullying comments versus the others. Anyways, yeah. Is this you announcing that you're leaving TikTok? Ugh, I don't put effort into TikTok. Like all my videos, I just upload them. I replicate the videos, you know? I make one video and I upload it on everything. So whatever you guys use, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, Twitch, Nick Shadow, thanks for the follow. Whatever it is you guys watch, just follow me on one of those, because it's just going to repeat itself. It's going to be on everything. Maybe claiming over sound alert. No, it's not sound alerts. It's a private video recorded. Like I make private, sorry, that sounds kind of dodgy. I make private YouTube videos or shorts, like a polished edited video, like 60 seconds explaining a physics topic. That is all mine. What is the right platform you uploaded it? What's the right platform? What do you mean, Schnood? Yeah, no, generally speaking, this is a very good community. I agree, Boom. I initially found your channel from Sureform. Oh, which platform? Oh my god, I was so confused, Schnoots, because of the private videos you mentioned. I was referring to OnlyFans. Listen. In desperate times call for desperate measures, I think. I have some Oblivion soundtrack playing in the background, but sometimes it kind of stops. To get people in the mood for Oblivion. I don't think I'll be playing it, but I'll be watching Nate play. He got it on the PlayStation, so it's nice to see. He's playing a full stealth thief playthrough. So, so it'll be interesting to see how stealth is meant to be played. I don't think OnlyFans has rules against uploading educational videos. Listen. I had this debacle. We've had this talk before. I thought like if we reach 10,000 followers or something like really cool and exciting, I would do something like pool video on Twitch, right? The pool video would be a whiteboard with me in a kiddie's pool, like, you know, a blow-up pool, whatever they're called, you know, those ones in the summer, in a scuba suit, teaching about scuba diving on the whiteboard. But no matter how much I bring it up, and no matter how much I think this would be so much fun and it would be such good banter, I think there will be a huge, like, just imagine the type of people that would come in. I don't think it would be worth the risk. Oh, is Oblivion being streamed? Hello, welcome in, Reinhardt. It would be hilarious, but there would be absolutely snooze. I think if we get exposed into that world, I don't think we're going to be happy with what we find picking up. Hey, Captain Kirk. Welcome in. Not the target demographic, exactly. It's a bit of fun. It would be a bit of crack, but I don't know. I don't know. It might not be great. That still only counts as one. Welcome in, welcome in. But yeah, decided instead we won't do that. Once my exams are finished, by the way, not my exams, I'm not a student anymore, but once my students finish all their exams and I finish correcting them, we do have a series of special events approaching. Okay, so what is it? April now? April is ending, and in May there's going to be a couple of things happening. Number one is 3 12-hour streams back to back to back. Why is that? So when I became a full-time lecturer, I went to be a part-time streamer. And one of the things that I did all the time was celebrate the 1,000 milestones on my stream, always. So when I reached 3,000, 2,000, 4,000 views, all of that, I celebrated them every single time. And I haven't gotten a chance to do a celebration stream. I keep saying I'll do it, and I never got around to it. So you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna do a long weekend stream in May after the exams are over. On Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we'll see which one I'll choose, of 12-hour first day celebrating the 6,000 milestone, 12-hour the next day celebrating the 7,000 milestone, 12-hour the following day celebrating the, which one is it? The 8,000 milestone. Hopefully by then we do not reach 9,000 followers. We'll get those celebrations. Also at the end of May, I am going to TwitchCon, in case you guys don't know. Don't do it to me, schnoods. Troy, welcome in. I will be going to TwitchCon. I will be doing a few panels, and I will be also what's the word? I'll also have a meet and greet. So I'm really looking forward, you know, seeing you guys there. I'll maybe stream there. I don't know if I'm allowed to. Yeah. We'll see. Looking forward. Yeah, I look forward to meeting all of you. So if any of you guys are around, make sure to stop by and say hello. Oblivion Remaster has ranked number 63. Oh, of all Twitch categories, that's so little. I expect way higher. William Shatner or Chris Pine best? Thanks a million for the follow, Cooper. Welcome in. Hi, Lord Vader. So yeah, we have loads of events happening today. Today we are doing the physics of sound, then we're playing Outer Wilds for a couple of hours, and then I'm playing Repo with friends. You might recognize a few people I'll be playing with today. Maybe. Welcome in, welcome in. So, first of all, let's start with the physics of sound. What is your opinion on computational material science? I know what material science is.
Ghost in space for
I know computational physics. I do not know what computational material science is. Hey, Ambassador. Welcome in, Bog. Nice try, for Zip. Nice try. Nice try. But not today. Nice outfit. Hi, Kip. You've traumatized me too much. You've abused your power, for Zerp. Abused your power too much. So what we'll do is let's get this ready when we are using get the white. Outer Wilds is peak. So we're playing Outer Worlds, in case I misspoke. I don't think so, Troy. I know a few of my students know that I'm a Twitch streamer, but I don't know. If they are watching me, they haven't told me or revealed it to me. I'm doing experiments right now. Oh no. I have a little textbook that I reference for guide for topics. So, let's start talking about sound. Now, boys and girls, what is sound? Does anyone know what sound is? I'm muted? Really? I see that sound is still working. Am I muted? Oh, it's a sound joke. Oh, okay. Okay. A pressure wave, vibrations, producing sounds is something Tofu's very, very good. Disturbance of waves. Loads of statements. Honestly, I was thinking even more simpler. Energy, but you guys already have loads of knowledge in this area. Well done, well done. So yeah, absolutely. It is a pressure wave. There's two kind of waves we tend to teach. We tend to teach which is it? Longitudinal wave? And what's the other one? Transverse wave. There we go. Longitudinal wave and transverse wave. FM. Now, the speed of sound is quite literally, when I'm talking right now, I have a microphone in front of me, and obviously it's detecting sound. But what's actually happening is that there are molecules of air around us, right? And they're all floating around, all about us in different circles and colliding with each other, kinetic theory of gases, jumping off, bouncing off one another. But when I project my voice outwards, what's really happening is a bunch of molecules are vibrated. I vibrated them. I projected energy onto them, and they have vibration energy. That vibration energy goes on. It kind of looks like a wave, but it bounces off to the next particle, and it vibrates that particle. That particle bounces off. Bounces off the next particle, bounces off to the next, bounces off to next, until it reaches the mic. Some electronic stuff happening from the mic to your headsets, and then either through your speakers or your headsets. If you're wearing your headsets, make sure you turn down your volume watching the stream. It comes back into your ear by the same process. From these guys, from the speakers here, it is still going to vibrate through air to get into your eardrum before we get detected. Hi, Science Bish. Sound isn't even specific to air. It can be transmitted by any material. Absolutely. And in fact, what's really interesting and really cool is that sound travels very poorly through air. Even though we're so used to it, it is that way. What I say by poorly is that it's very, very slow. Because, as you can imagine, gas, the air that we breathe, everything around us, is quite sparse. But if I were to speak through water, where the molecules are very closely jam-packed, sound can travel way, way, way faster. So, speed of sound in air is usually 340 meters per second on top of my head. 343, there we go. 343 meters per second. But sound in water... Oh, I have a little table here. Sound in water is 1,440 meters per second. Seawater is 1,560, mind you. So because the molecules are a lot more jam-packed and they're tighter in together, they don't need this distance of traveling to occur. And so sound can travel really, really fast. Isn't 343 meters per second also at sea level? It's not just at sea level, by the way, because obviously that's got to do with the density of air particles. That measurement, 343, is also, I believe, at 20 degrees Celsius, because sound will travel slower in colder temperatures. So if it was 0 degrees, I believe the speed is 341 meters per second. Exactly. Temperature and pressure matter. What about humidity? Yes, but I think humidity is indirectly correlated with pressure. Am I wrong in thinking about that? And temperature in this case? But generally speaking, it's 343 is a good measurement. To kind of do a little bit more maths on this, or a little bit of practical, this is a thing that we were told probably as kids. A lot of you might remember this as revision, that we can determine how far away the thunderstorm is from us. So light travels so quickly. It's 3 by 10 to the power of 8 per second. It's super, super fast. We can almost say that it's instantaneous when we see a lightning strike. And then a couple of seconds later, usually, hear the thunderstorm. So because sound travels so much slower than light does, we can determine how far away a lightning storm is. So I have a problem here is... oh no, I don't have a problem. So let's say... Where's my marker? Let me put up the camera a little bit so we can see the whiteboard a little bit more. So let's say, how far up? Let's say we see lightning strike, and 3 seconds later, thunder. We know we can assume that. Sorry, my back was turned. I wasn't very. So we can assume that when we see a lightning strike, we assume it's instantaneous. So what we can see is that the speed of sound is 343 meters. If we hear the thunder 3 seconds after we've seen the lightning, it takes 3 of these meters for us to... it takes 3 of these for us to find the distance away the storm is. That's roughly... I'm not going to get stumped by this. 11.5? 1.5 kilometers. No? That's done. That's going to be about 1.15 kilometers away. No one hears you scream in space. Exactly. That's where the notion comes from, that nobody can hear you scream in space. Because there are no air molecules in space. Oh, speaking of, this isn't very spoilery of The Expanse, but I did appreciate a really cool thing, a really cool scene that happened in The Expanse. They don't highlight this very much and say, oh, look at the physics of this. But what's really, really cool is there's a scene where, I'm not spoiling the plot or anything from The Expanse, but where they turned off their communications inside their spacesuits. And one of the characters approached another person. They were in outer space. They were spacewalking. And she put her helmet right up to the helmet of her comrade that she needed to speak to. And she spoke without telecommunication. Because in her space suit, air was traveling, sound was traveling from her mouth through the air of her spacesuit to the frame of her physical spacesuit, from the frame of the physical spacesuit to the frame of her comrade that she's trying to speak to, through the air back into him. It was a very small little like physics-esque moment in The Expanse, but it was really nice. And it was muffled because obviously sound, when it was being transmitted through different materials, loses energy to a certain extent and all of that. Anyways, it's just a really cool little tidbit or a little thing that The Expanse did. But The Expanse did do a lot of really cool physics tricks. But what I appreciate about it is that they don't spend time explaining it. It's like, if you're a physics buff, enjoy it. If not, it's not part of the plot. Keep going with the story. This is a little bit phlegmy. I hope I'm not sick. Hi, Suck Suck. Welcome in. Have you watched The Martian? I have, a long time ago, back when I was a bachelor student. So, about 10 years ago or so. Oh, I read the books. I actually never finished the movie, I think. I read the books. Now, when we covered waves a little while ago, we talked about a few things. Right? Just a vision. Sorry, I'm away from the mic. Let me put it up here. Now, when we covered waves, we covered a few things. We covered what a wavelength was. So from here to here is a wavelength. And we covered a frequency, which was the period is the time it takes for this one wave to happen, and the frequency is the inverse of that. How many waves pass per second is the way I tend to describe it. Another thing that we covered is amplitude, the height of the wave. So, in terms of logical sound stuff, what does the amplitude represent in a wave? In a sound, sorry. What does the amplitude of a wave describe when we talk about sound? Volume, exactly. Loudness, exactly. That's right. That's what we'll be measuring today. We're going to be talking about decibels in a couple of minutes, but that's exactly what it does. Another one, I suppose, is what does frequency describe? If there's more waves coming in per second. Energy, that's one way of looking at it. Yeah, pitch, exactly. That's the one I was looking for, pitch. Not that I know anything about music or sound in this kind of way, so I'm no expert at all. Welcome in, McLean, by the way. I don't know anything about music, so just bear with me here. That, I believe, is pitch. And what's really interesting is that we have a certain range that we can hear. Hi, Emilio. The human ear tends to hear between two ranges. 20 hertz up to 20,000 hertz. I actually do this demonstration in my lectures. I bring in a frequency generator and I play it out. And most of my students only start hearing at 17,000 hertz. And chat, I'm not going to guesstimate the age of everyone in the chat, but y'all be lucky if you hear 15,000 hertz. I'm not age shaming anyone in the community here. But you would be very lucky to hear above 15,000. It drops very, very quickly, that range. I'd like to go but I'm 19, so maybe not, Lord Vader. Like I said, my students are all 18-year-olds. They're between 17 and 19, the students I teach, and a lot of them struggle at 15,000 hertz. With all the concerts I've been lucky yeah, actually it's a big thing. I think it's like if you hear when we were talking to our students and some of them were below 10,000, or it was like 11,000, we were like saying, okay, this might be a test that you might have some hearing issues. You might need to go, get I know that Specsavers does hearing tests, but what is that term? You don't just go to a doctor, you go to a specialist. Hashtag sponsor. Specsavers, sponsor me! These glasses are so expensive. Audiologist? Is it called an audiologist? Okay. I, for some reason, thought it would be a more complicated word. Ah, interesting, CJ. So yeah, I'm sad I can't bring a frequency generator in, and I'm not even sure if it would work via stream. Maybe there's some app out there, or not app, but YouTube video of like frequency generation sound. Surely it should work. Let's see if there is something like that, like a video with frequency, 20 to 20,000 hertz sound test. There we go. Someone's Googled this before. All right. Let's test it. Let me pause this. We'll go into internet overlay. I'll bring this over. Be ready to be flash banged. There is also this rumor spread because adults can't hear up to 20,000 hertz and we lose that hearing quite quickly, that upper range. There is this rumor, I don't know if this is true, but people have said that some stores, to stop kids from coming, will play high frequency sound that only children can hear to chase them away from certain places. Now, I'm not here spreading conspiracy theories. I don't know if there's any truth to that. That might be a conspiracy theory, but before anyone comes at me. Okay, so let's turn this up. Okay. Are you ready? It's kind of a scary sound. It sounds a little bit. We're still good. 200. 1,000. Oh my god, that's actually really making me uncomfortable. I'm so scared. I feel like it's about to explode. Sorry, where was I? 2K. I still hear it. I didn't hear it there, but my range should have stopped earlier. This is where it cuts off, 18,000 for me, but I think... Wait, it cut off at 11K for you guys? Oh, wow. 16K. I lost it at 15. Okay, let me play it back a little bit so you guys can test it again. So we're at about 3K right now. Just under 18,000 for me there. Right, like when it was about to turn to 18,000. That's where it cut off for me. Yeah. But I don't know. I did this sound test before and I was at 16K, I think, when I did it. Hi, Otto. And I don't know if you're here, Otto. Chat just moved so quickly, but I saw Bog say hi, so I'm assuming you're here. You can hear the 18K just under 18K. As soon as it turned to 18K, I stopped hearing it. Opinion out. Yeah, maybe the stream. Yeah, there could be some stream issue. I'm not sure how well that test would actually work on stream, by the way. There might have been loss of something. Yeah, maybe I was going to post the link, but I just closed it. I just YouTubed 20 to 20,000 hearing test. It stops. So this as very similarly to the visible light range. So when we studied the visible light range, we had, you know, from red wavelength all the way to blue wavelength, we had the whole spectrum. Sound also has this classification from 20,000 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Above 20,000 hertz is something called ultrasonic. I made this big conclusion sound because I was hoping you guys might recognize that. Ultrasonic. Where do we have heard that before? We use ultrasonic, don't we? From the word ultraviolet, yeah, we've used ultraviolet in the light spectrum, that's right. But we've used ultrasonic for other stuff. Looking for wee babies in the belly, that is one of them. Ultrasonic showers in Star Trek, yes, that's right. Supersonic is ever so slightly different. Supersonic is not about frequency. What do you know what the difference between supersonic and ultrasonic is? There's two different things. And I got bonked. It's about speed, exactly, yes. So ultrasonic defines frequency, like how many waves pass through, while ultrasonic defines the speed. Now, if ultrasonic is above 20,000 hertz, what's below 20 hertz? What's the word that we're looking for here? Hence why sonic is called sonic, yeah. Infrasonic, yeah. Someone said subsonic. I'm not sure what subsonic is. I know that it's called infrasonic. Maybe subsonic is the same thing, but I know it as infrasonic. Infrasonic. And we use, correct me if I'm wrong, but infrasonic is used by submarines and ships to detect how deep the ground is, how deep the seabed is. Can anyone correct me and stop me from spreading lies and rumors? Subsonic definition: relating or traveling at a speed less than. Okay, so this got to do with sound.
That still only counts as one.
Tiny turtle teeth. Interesting username. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks very for the follow. Fun fact: elephants used infrasonic communication over long distances. That's right. It is a very energy efficient way of sound of traveling, which is why I think, again, correct me if I'm right. That's why it's used in detecting seabeds. You need it to travel long distances. Through the water, and you need that energy bounce back. Correct me again if anyone knows more details about what I'm spreading. Hi, Wolf. Now, a small thing that I should highlight about the audible range is that, you know, that's the human range, right? 20,000 hertz roughly to 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Now, have you heard of the fact that dogs can hear sounds that we can't? Usually dogs hear way, way above 20,000 hertz. That's why when you blow that whistle, I don't know, I'm not very good at dog training and stuff, but you know, when you blow that whistle, animals can hear commands and it's not audible to the human ear. That's what they use. They use a higher pitch whistle. All I know is that 440 hertz is an A note in the modern musical scale. Cool. Sky Bison. I can hear it too. I am playing, what am I playing? I'm playing Oblivion background music is what I'm playing. It's possible elephants can sense earthquakes and tsunamis, which could explain why you rarely see a dead elephant after tsunami. Oh, boom, Tinking and Otto. I think you guys were writing the same thing there. For sending signals to submarines, you need low frequencies and larger antennas. Okay. I remember Aphex when using infrasound to vibrate my intestine. Oh, okay. I see, I see. Oh, I don't like the way it teaches the decibel thing of sound. Would have been nice. Okay. Is it brown noise? I'm not sure about that. I have no knowledge of this. Saw it in some documentary years ago. It's really cool how these little facts we pick up in life. And some of them just stick around. But yeah, that is really cool. Now that we know that we can measure pitch, right? We can measure frequency, and it's important because we have a frequency range as us humans. Do we have also a amplitude? How high this wave can go? This is basically loudness. And ultimately, loudness is actually a form of energy. It's a form of power. It's an expression of the energy that is being emitted per surface area. But before, that's why I kind of don't like the way it's taught. I feel like I need to kind of give a bit more statement. So when we talk about loudness, really what we're talking about in a physics perspective or a true perspective is intensity of sound. Because loudness can mean, it's a weird word in physics, if that makes sense. Yeah, sure, Tofu's loud when she screams, as Naz has pointed out. But, you know, that's arbitrary. To me, I don't sound loud at all, so you guys are just faking it and lying to me. I'm not loud when I scream during horror games. So the proper kind of measurement of sound, of loudness, is usually intensity. If it gets too loud, it can destroy your eardrums. That is true. If you're on the beach and you see elephants fleeing, maybe take note, just in case. Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll take measurement. Now, intensity has a units of power per unit area. Power? What's power again? What? Per unit area? Now, I was talking about energy, but it's important to understand as well that it's not just about the amount of energy that your eardrum receives. It's about the amount of energy per unit time, right? Because I could whisper into your ear. Let's say my voice creates sound, which is energy. I could whisper in your ear all day, right? And the energy would be, I don't know, something like 400 joules. Yeah, So this is an ASMR stream, and I'm going to be talking right now for a couple of seconds. Let's say I've emitted about 40 joules of energy into your ear. But I've been talking for like almost 10 seconds now, because that's how long it's, happening. But now I'm going to yell at you! And in that short one yell, I could have released the same amount of energy, 50 joules as well, let's say. So 50 joules when I was whispering, but it took a long time, or just in 1 second I yelled. And I released all that energy very, very quickly. So it's very important to understand the difference between energy and power. Yes, they're interchangeable between each other, but that unit of time is very, very important. So obviously, the loudness, the intensity was higher when I screamed. Make sense? Because I was able to release a lot more energy per unit of time, let's say per 1 second. Now, but it's also important to note that it's per unit area. Where does this come from? It's like how having 6 pints over 8 hours is grand, but 8 pints in 1 hour is a there we go. Exactly. You know what? That's a great analogy. I should really teach that. Oh my god, that would be great for teaching next year. I need to remember that analogy. That's a really good one. Especially teaching ag science students. They would love the pint analogy. Alright. Now, learning with VA, exactly, Source Connect. The per unit area is kind of important, and you're going to see something really, really cool, or like a reminder of something really, really cool. Let me move my mic here as I talk. Hopefully the mic will still continue to pick me up. Not that I'm particularly quiet. Now, when sound gets emitted, let's say this is the thing that emits sound. Okay? It emits usually as a sphere, right? It's vibrating from one particle here that vibrates out here, 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 vibrates out here. It's basically all projecting outwards. Usually in the shape of a sphere, right? If it is a spherical thing. Obviously, it depends on the shape of it or whatnot. But usually, it will emit everything out in the sphere. Whatever your detecting measurement is, let's say your detector is, I don't know. Supersonic, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. Let's say your detector is a little piece, right? A kind of square thing. It can measure the amount of particles basically impacting on that surface area. So it's the amount of energy per second per any surface area that we're detecting. That's where we get this area from. That is where the unit meter squared comes from. Basses unidirections, mids and treble are direction. I don't know what that is. Sorry, boom. I'm guessing that's some musical talk happening. Maybe chat knows. Maybe chat can mention, understand. Is that Scar? Yeah, I'm playing some Oblivion music in the background, Starm. Welcome in. So that is what we call intensity. Now, the unit for intensity is kind of really, really, really big. Thanks so much for the follow. Welcome in. Let me get another marker. Or, yeah, usually it's really, really big. So the average human here can detect sound with an intensity as low as 10 minus 12 watts. Sorry if you didn't catch me. The human ear can detect sound as small as 10 to the minus 12 watts per meter squared. And this number is super, super important. It can also hear sound as high as 1 watt. Huge range, 10 to the minus 12 all the way to 1. That's a massive range if you can imagine. That. Basically, your human ear can hear above that, but your eardrums are going to start hurting. Big fan of both science and TS. You're more than welcome here. You could say intensity is intense. Exactly, it is. It is. No jokes aside, it is intense. Sorry, I'm burping a bit. Now, this measurement is going to be really, really important. This one right here. This minimum sound. This is the fundamental base of how the decibel measurement system works. So I'm sure we've all heard of decibels, right? We've heard that it's a logarithmic scale and it's the way we measure intensity of sound. The reason being is because this frickin' range, 10 to the minus 12 all the way to 1 watt, is really, really hard. And those it's confusing. We humans are are simple beings. We don't like using units that are 10 to the minus 12, 10 to the minus 8, 10 to the minus 6. That's boring. Well, that's not boring. It's just hard to think. It's hard to imagine. And so humans tend to like scales 0 to 100. We like the idea that that temperature is from 0 degrees Celsius, freezing water, all the way to boiling water, 100 degrees Celsius. It's a lovely temperature scale. It's nice. We like things that are understandable. And so what we use instead is a decibel measurement system. But it's really, really tough because sound has a huge scale. How do you squish this all down to 100? It's tough. So instead we use something called a logarithmic scale, something that as it gets higher, it visually doesn't seem that high. Sounds a bit weird. We'll explain in a couple of minutes. But what's really important to understand here is this number, 10 to the minus 12 watts per meter squared, this intensity measurement. And the reason why this is really important is that this is called the threshold of hearing. Very, very important because the whole decibel sound system is based on this guy. Really, really important. This is called the threshold of hearing. Not us, I know, I'm sorry. I know you guys use Fahrenheit. But you see, we say that, but American scientists should be and are probably using the Kelvin scale and the Celsius scale for a lot of physics. I would assume, I would hope so. So that would be 0 decibel level. Exactly. Am I running out of board space? Just a little bit. It's okay. What are some examples of sounds on the far end of the spectrum? So the tiniest rustle of leaves, whatever kind of thing that you can hear would be the lowest, and the highest would be like jets usually. Isn't Kelvin scientific? Celsius is scientific as well, because delta C and delta K are the exact same thing. That's true. Usually a lot of people back in the day when I was doing my degrees, it was common to do a postdoc in America. Like it was a popular thing that in Ireland you should do a year or two in the United States to get that experience. I think now, in the last 4 years of seeing my colleagues graduate, not a single one went to the United States. There's a lot of like nice postdocs in Europe that they went to, few fellowships that were available, but as far as I know, I haven't heard of anyone in the last 2 years go to the States in my research group. So yes, do come to Europe. We do lots of science. We like scientists. Come. It's a nice cozy place these days. Now, where was I? So what we do is we design a logarithmic scale, something that can squish down all of this 10 to the minus 12 and 1 watt, that huge range, into one little scale. We use the decibel. Sorry, the mic is probably cutting me out. Apologies. dB. Is it beta usually? I think I usually, yeah. So decibel is the unit. I use beta, I think, is the measurement of, it's the symbol to represent sound intensity as a decibel. It's equal to, very simple, 10 log. Sorry, is the mic cutting out? Intensity of the sound that we're measuring. All over threshold. The bare minimum that the ear can pick up. Scientists in this economy. So that is the equation. Beta is equal to 10 log I over I naught. And you might be thinking, oh my God, tofu, there's a lot of things going on. Nothing. There is nothing going on here. Okay, that sounds a bit harsh. Beta is the decibel measurement. This is excuse me for my burps. This is the measurement system. 10 is just a number. It's just a number. Log is the thing that we're going to do to those eyes. I naught is the threshold of hearing. It's just 10 to the minus 12. And then the actual number then is the intensity of sound itself, wherever the sound is, whatever it is that we're measuring. Does that make sense? It's just a constant. Exactly, it's just a constant. There's no need to panic. There's no need to worry. Usually when these equations look so complicated and scary, because there's so many parameters, they're just numbers. They're just numbers. I wonder if there's like a decibel chart to look at. Just to see. Here we go. I have some stuff here. Because usually we measure up to 130. Oh, wow. Okay, this is cool. Save image as desktop. I'm going to bring it up here. Desktop. Okay. So I just pulled this image from the internet. I'll post the link in the chat to give credit where it's due, just so that we have a visual representation of the decibel scale. Live long and prosper. Welcome in. Hey, I'm no ensign. I'm a science officer. Don't be so rude to me. Hi, Seppacoid. So here's a scale from 0, very, very tiny, very, very tiny, well, scale. About 10, 15 decibels would be the rustling of leaves. 30 is a whisper, so me doing little ASMR sounds in your ear. It's about 30 decibels. Actually, it's probably higher because the mic is still picking it up and increasing the volume. Oh, light rain, tappity tap tap tap, is about 40. In your office, so a normal conversation, i.e. not Tofu talking, anyone else but Tofu talking, is about 60 decibels. Tofu's probably about 70, 80 decibels. A toilet flushing or a vacuum cleaner is about 70, 75 decibels. Heavy traffic, noisy restaurant is about 80 to 90 decibels. Welder, sander, handheld drill, chainsaws. You can see the jump, right? A flushing toilet, we jump up a little bit to like handheld drills, chainsaws. Like that's a huge jump in terms of what the sound itself is. But this is the beauty or the understanding of the logarithmic scale a little bit. A live rock band is about 130 decibels. This is very dangerous sound. Please protect yourself when you go to a concert. I know you hate, I know no one's going to do it. I know no one's going to do it, but you probably should be wearing ear protection. I was a bartender for 5 years, worked with a live band, always playing live. I did damage my eardrums in the longest process, so do be careful. Fighter jets, fireworks. It depends on the distance, I guess. Shotgun blast. Whoa, that's really, really high. 160 decibels. And finally, a rocket launch, 180. Is the loudest off the scale there. This is measured at the source. I would say so. I would guess. Motor racing did for my hearing as well. Wear your earplugs, folks. Yep. Most people do not appreciate exactly. Protect your ears while they're working. It's not too late, chat. Protect them. Don't watch Tofu's stream on large volume. So in case you're curious as well, here's a little thing to show you about my mic setting. Just to show you really quickly. Display capture. So if I just increase the display capture, if you look here, look at this. There's actually a cap. So this is the volume of the sound in the background, but I've also capped the volume of my stream. So if I decrease this all the way down, it's dampening my sound. I'm protecting it by a ratio of 16.8 decibels. Now, I've increased it all the way to 0. I'm not protecting your audio anymore. However, I usually do protect you down about 1.5. There is a bit of a cap there to protect you ever so slightly from my screaming, lovely, beautiful voice at times. Thanks a million for the follow, Unicorn. Welcome in. Is low frequency loud noises how to... Yes, absolutely. Frequency has got nothing to do with the... I only paused. So it has nothing to do with loudness. Yes, it doesn't have anything to do with loudness. I was going to pause and say, does it affect the energy? Because in electromagnetic waves, yes, frequency affects energy. E is equal to HF. So frequency does affect energy, but it doesn't affect the amplitude, the loudness. I have a program called Voice Meter where I have set a decibel cap for all my audio. No screaming peaks in my headset. Highly recommended. Yeah, another setting I have on my stream, I'll do display capture again. If you go into properties here, no, not properties. Sorry. You go into filters. One of the things I have is a limiter. So, no, not limiter. Noise gate. Here we go. Oh, no, limiter. Limiter is the one. So the limiter is that you can play around with the setting, but basically it caps your audio as well, that it won't go to a certain range. If you go all the way down there, it'll be very, very quiet. But I have it quite high up here. If you're a screamo, I don't know if that's the proper term, a screaming streamer, make sure to have that on your stream setup so that, you know, chat doesn't die. Because there is like, I think it's a noise gate. Not noise gate. No, there's another thing. There are softwares out there that dampen your voice if you're loud, and they don't sound right. Your voice kind of turns crackly and robotic. I used to have that on it, and then I realized that's terrible. So what I do is I just use the limiter instead, and you have it as well manually here at the bottom of your bar as well. Lower frequency is more energetic. Is it? When I was working in geophase, the lower frequency were more useful for imaging. Yes, that's right. So I think it was like they were more energy efficient. Am I right in saying that? Correct me if I'm wrong. That the quality of sound returned is better with infrasonic than it is with ultrasonic. Distance is very, very good for infrasonic sounds. Thanks all for the horror stream. Speaking of volume and sound, you guys want to make me scream and be terrified and be an absolute menace when it comes to these kind of things, make sure to put your channel points to good use by redeeming it into the horror stream special, where I will be forced to play a horror game that you guys will vote for. And we will have a special guest do some science of like some apocalypses that could happen, some biological issues that could occur in the future. So if you guys are interested, you can definitely force me to do that for sure. That's a lot of people contributing. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. I need to set it to 1 million next time. 1 million next time. I always thought of it as it was the higher frequencies would cover less distances. Yeah, exactly. So it's more inefficient. Like, more can happen. I know that might be terrible physics, but that's the way it's working in my head, Jimmy. There's more shit that could go wrong with more waves happening per unit distance. Does that make sense? It's the way I also envision Snell's law to a certain extent, why it gets refracted and stuff like that. Although it doesn't actually lose energy, it's more so the path that that light has to take to stop interacting with the electrons. Don't Look Up is cool. I was very critical of it when I first watched it, but Don't Look Up was really interesting. I did enjoy it. Also, we have a couple of stream streaks. Captain Sunbeam, thank you so much. Wombat Hole an hour ago had a 10 stream streak. For Zerp had an hour ago, 10 stream streak. Blade had another one an hour ago, 210 stream streak. I apologize if I didn't acknowledge them or say huge thank yous to them. It's pretty amazing. Those stream streakers. It's hard when we have someone like Star who came in with 275 stream streak. That must be 2 years of streaming, I swear. Jeremy, thanks so much for the follow. Welcome in. Oh my god, I drank almost a whole bottle of water. I am the most hydrated tofu you've ever seen, chat. The most hydrated tofu. We have so much going on the board today. So messy. Let's take down some stuff and we'll do a little bit of maths. Just a little bit. I know. We all hate maths. But just a little bit. A little practical thing. The practical thing that we'll do is actually use this equation. So I have a question in the textbook. Here's a question. At a busy street corner, the sound level is 75 decibels. Okay. What is the intensity of sound? That's the question. Okay. We know that the equation is decibels is equal to 10 log intensity of sound all over the threshold. This is an ugly mess. This is hard to solve. This is definitely tough. In the sense that there's a log over there. You know, we have to know a little bit of a mathematical trick here to solve this. Welcome in Greek, Japer, hello, welcome in Germ, welcome in. More wiggle, more heat. That's one of the thought processes I had as well, Doggo. Welcome in. We need to confirm that. So first things first, let's clean up what we can clean up. The 10 is easy enough. 10 is just being multiplied by a whole bunch of stuff here. So if it's being multiplied about here, we can bring it over here and it's going to be divided. Nice. Okay, it's looking a lot better already. Now, how do we get rid of a log? This is a little bit, let me push it a bit this way so you guys can see better ahead. To get rid of this log, what we have to do is basically put this guy as a power to 10. Get rid of this, 10 to the power, exactly, Zero, exactly. You flash it. So basically, I'm kind of going to rearrange the side here. I'm not doing anything other than just around. To get rid of the log here, we lob it over in this side, and we put all of this mess to the power of 10. There we go. 10 to the power of beta divided by 10. How do we get rid of the log? We set it on fire. Basically, we're setting it on fire now. Rearrange the equation because we're looking for I. That's just the threshold of hearing multiplied by 10 divided by beta 10. Threshold of hearing is just a number. It's 10 to the minus 12. Multiplied by 10 to the power of beta, that's 75. 75 divided by 10 is 7.5. That's 10 to the power of 7.5. So our answer should be something less than 10. Don't have a calculator with me. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. 3.16 by 10 to the minus 5. It sounds reasonable enough. It's in the right dimension. 3.6 by 10 to the minus 5. What's the unit for intensity? Bum-ba-da-bum, bum-ba-da-bum. No, not decibel, no. So decibel is this one. It's the one with the decibel log. But intensity is slightly different. The unit is watt per meter squared. Exactly. Watt. So the decibel unit is for the decibel scale. But intensity, this is probably an incorrect way of describing it. I hope, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But when we talk about sound, there's two scales. The decibel system is a humanoid scale. It's basically, do you know that argument that people use that Fahrenheit is better for people to use because it's a human scale? I don't like the argument because a lot of the statements that I've seen about it are actually just mostly got to do with what people are used to. I don't think it fits the logic, but that's my own argument. That's a different argument for another day. The decibel scale is basically the human scale. It's the one that we use as humans. It's easier for us to understand. It's the one that is like nice, quick numbers that we can perceive very, very quickly in a short amount of time. Intensity of sound would be what is the pure physics definition. Power per unit area. It is a very physics, well-defined energy per certain surface, so that we could do nice mathematics with it. It's probably not the best way to describe things, but it's the way I kind of make it work in my head, if that makes sense. Hi, Hitch, welcome in. So I became a historian instead. No worries. We appreciate everyone and anyone coming in. And look, if you get the answer wrong, I'm glad that you guys just even tried to answer. Trying to answer is half the battle. If you answer a question wrong and you get corrected, you'll remember it a lot more. For me, I remember my lecture in thermodynamics. I will always remember the story of how my lecturer set me up for failure on purpose, where we were talking about the infrared scale, talking about heat, and he asks, how do you hide from the infrared scale? How do you hide from an infrared detector? And obviously, I so confidently, thanks to Schrodinger, thanks to Schwarzenegger, I ended up saying, cover yourself in mud. Of course I would. Who wouldn't say that? And obviously I got it wrong and got laughed at a little bit of class. And I remember still to this day to hide behind a pane of glass now. No matter what happens in this world, the one thing I will not die is to a predator due to his infrared scale range. Maybe he has other lenses that he switches between, so I might die to those, but yeah. What's the equation in the background? Sorry, apologies. That is the decibel measuring scale. We're just talking about intensity of sound and how we can use intensities to measure the loudness of sound, basically. That's exactly correct, Source Connect. I've learned more from being wrong than from being right. You're absolutely right about that. I've been more wrong. All the events that led me to do my good chapters in my PhD is because I messed up really, 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 really bad. Hi, Bloatware. Hey, Daniel, by the way. I know you redeemed earlier the channel points, but didn't mean to call you out. Now, I trust Arnie over your silly books to save me from the predator every day of the week. That's true. If you have Arnie's muxels. Oh, I need to show you something. I don't know why Nate keeps hiding these, but these are some of the best ever coasters that existed in the world. And Nate is kind of, I think he's a bit ashamed to have them. I think they're so good. Look at this. I can't find the third one. There's the other one. Look at that. Oh, look at that one. Last one. can't find the fourth one. I bought 4 of them. Look at that body. Listen, I think these are so great. A guest coming in and putting their cup of tea and coffee down on an Arnie like coaster. Yeah, I think Nathan is just ashamed of me. I think he's really embarrassed. I can't blame him. But look. Different version of the gun show. If you've experienced a dislike to certain sounds, check out Miss. Oh, really? There's definitely sounds that have pissed me off. Interesting. That's really, really cool. If you're emitting noise at a normal volume of 30, why does it sound so loud? We could look into the physics of it, sure. I did serve Jerry Hannon. I had guests on Sunday, and I did serve coffee in a mug on an Arnie coaster. But I don't think they knew what Jerry Hannon was. They didn't understand Medjay's wonderful, wonderful jug. So many steroids. He did use steroids. He did admit to that. I read his whole biography. Listened to his whole biography. I was a bit disappointed that most of it was read by someone else. The first chapter was read by Arnie. I could listen to Arnie's voice all day. Oh, you don't like the ER sound design? I mean, that's really interesting, Tarek. Is a big, yeah, because there is no other noise, I suppose, right? Even you guys listening to me, well, it depends. If you guys are wearing a noise cancelling headset, maybe you guys might not hear a whole lot. But if I stop and listen to everything around me, there is still always noise. No, a silent room is really, really creepy. I think Veritasium did a video about it that you can go quite insane. Like it's very troubling to the mind to be exposed to complete silence. Oh really? Well, that's cool. Oh, that sounds creepy for Zerp. Oh no. No, I think I wouldn't like to be... Lads, I can't even keep my mind quiet for a while. I get freaked out by my own brain. I am the happiest I've ever been in my life for the past few years. I won't go into like dark thoughts and dark things, and this is not... I'm not trauma dumping, and I don't want to talk about it too much anyway. But, you know, and I do associate this with the reason I'm so happy, finally, and life is a little bit on the better side these days, is because my life is so busy. If I stop and if I have silence and I have time to think, that's where shit goes down the drain for me. Coincidentally, I did give up League of Legends around that time, Nas. Coincidentally. So I don't know, is it like life got to do with, you know, being busy and being hectic and a busy schedule and all of that versus quitting League of Legends? Which one is it that made me a better person? But yeah, I do kind of miss League of Legends. Like, was it yesterday? No, it was Monday. Do you know what happened on Monday? I sat down on my PC, I was playing Sims 4, and I was watching loads of Twitch streams. And you know what? Like, I wanted to download League of Legends just to message people and say, hey, you down to play a game of League? I don't want to play League, but I was definitely down to play a game or two of something. I wish there was something that we could play a bit like that. Not like a server, not like Minecraft, not like a big kind of project, if that makes sense. But something to just, do you know what I mean? Just go on and do a session of. Something that you don't have to commit to too much. Like Phasmophobia, I suppose. if there's any new kind of stuff coming out for Phasmophobia, I'd love that. Exactly, Mario Kart. Hi, E to the 2 to the I to the pi. Nate and I reinstalled our Wii recently, and we were playing Mario Kart Wii. Power Wash. Wait, can you play Power Wash Simulator with many people? Hey, there's a new game called Oblivion that just came out. You 4 people can play Power Wash Simulator? Oh, wow. Didn't realize. I thought it was a solo game. Cool. But speaking of repo, we will be doing some repo tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Now, because I drank a whole bottle of water, which is very good for hydration, I will have to pee soon. But as we're approaching the end of the science segment stream, can I ask you, chat, what did we learn today? Let's finish up the stream, the science technology section of the stream, as always, with what did we actually learn on the stream today? I know to some this might have been revision, but perhaps you guys learned something today from each other, from me, from others. Tofu does ASMR. Okay, we'll take that. I'll take that. There's competitive Power Wash sim. No way. Class. That's pretty crazy. I learned my hearing range is still surprisingly healthy. Not bad. All those concerts didn't ruin you. The decibel is not that useful scientifically. On the money. Well, I suppose it depends. I'm not aware of it being that useful. Sound is cool. I'll take it. I decided to keep it positive. Holy moly. I learned that 1 hour and 40 minutes can disappear. Absolutely. It really does. I feel like I wasn't that distracted during chat, but it took 1 hour and 40 minutes to cover this. I need to do that more in my lectures. I feel like I talk in my lectures too fast. Not speak too fast, but I cover the topics too fast. I need more stories and rants. But also, like, I don't think I need to. I feel like staying focused and precise, a little story here and there to add information and context to a lot of things is great. But going on spiels and over-repeating yourself isn't good either. If I over-repeat myself, I feel like students will get bored and drown out a little bit. We're almost finished the semester. So after this week, I go back to uni and I'm teaching for 1 more week and then it's exams. So we're almost finished the semester. I'm looking forward to streaming a little bit more. Thanks for thank you, Cooper. Yeah, but I try to cater for a shyer audience, Frog. So what I do in my lessons is I actually finish the lesson early. And I always say, I'm here at the end of class. If anyone wants to come down to me and ask me questions, you're more than welcome to. And so what I do is, there's a lot of students, because the lecture hall is quite big and it's intimidating. It's intimidating to ask a question in front of your peers. So instead what I do is I get students to come down to me and ask questions in private. It's a little bit more encouraging, a little bit more, yeah. Because, like, if they want to ask a question live during the... I was going to say live during the Twitch stream. Live during the lecture, they can. Nothing will stop it. I'll answer to the best of my ability. But then I just try to cater for students who are on the shyer scale. Shyer audience, Gandalf Jam. We'll take the hobbits to Isengard. Like the hobbits. I'm going to go pee. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes because I am bursting. I might... What time is it? Okay, Bunzo doesn't need to get fed. But yeah, we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about Outer Worlds if you guys are interested in. And also Repo. Like, yeah, we'll stick around, chat. If you guys want to stay around, you're more than welcome to, as always.